ABC Uwakan from BE Ed 1B. So, we will tackle about the GSALT theory and also about consumption theory. GSALT theory serve as foundation for the cognitive perceptive on learning, considered as mental process and the product of perception. GSALT originates from a German word meaning form, pattern, shape, or configuration. Emphasize the significance of sensory pulse and the dynamic nature of visual perception. So, GSALT psychologists who studied perception concluded that learners are not passive but active participants in the learning process. So the first psychologist, which is Max Wallner, 1883 to 1943, introduced GSALT psychology in 1912. Emphasized that the whole is more than just the sum of its parts. Focus on the grouping and organization of elements and perception. A major principle of GSALT theory of learning, according to Kufa 2013, encourage learners to discover a topic or problem's underlying nature. Gaps in cognitus and disturbance stimulate learning. Base instruction on the laws of organization or grouping. So there are these principles or law of grouping. First is proximity, which is the elements that are closer together are perceived as a coherent object. Next is similarity. Elements that look similar are perceived as part of the same form. So next is closure. We tend to mentally close incomplete figures or fill in the gaps in what we perceive. Next is good continuation or continuity. Individuals tend to continue contours when elements of a pattern imply a direction. So next is good pregnance or simplicity. Stimuli are organized into as simple a figure as possible. So the last laws of groupings. Figure ground. We pay attention to and perceive things in the foreground before the background. So let's move on to Orzabal meaningful verbal learning or consumption theory. David Orzabal in 1918 to 2008 anchored the theory in the theme that knowledge is hierarchically organized. New information is meaningful to the extent that it can be related or attached to what is already known. He thought that the primary way of learning was subsumption. Subsumption meaning a process which new materials is related or connected to relevant ideas in the existing relevant structure. The focus of Orzabal theory. Important factors influencing learning are the quantity, clarity, and organization of the learner's present knowledge. It consists of facts, concepts, propositions, theories, and raw perceptual data which comprise the learning cognitive structure. Meaningful learning takes place when one idea to be learned is related to some sensible ways to ideas that the learners already possesses. There are 4 processes of meaningful learning or subsumption. So the first processes of subsumption, which is derivative subsumption. Description. Describing the situation in which the new learning is an example of a concept already learned. So example, new info, blue jay or cockatiel, old concept which is the bird. Blue is just a sum as bird derived from characteristic. Examples feather, wings, lace, eggs, beak, and flies. second processes of subsumption, which is correlative subsumption. Description: changing or expanding old concepts to accommodate new information, more valuable learning than the derivative subsumption since it enriches higher level concepts. Example: new, so new is ostrich, old is bird. Ostrich is a subsum as bird by extending or modifying most characteristic of bird through ostrich cannot fly. The third processes of subsumption, which is the superordinate learning. Description: knowing a lot of examples about a concept but doesn't know the concept until it was taught. Examples known: mango, guava, banana, etc. Concept: just learn fruit. National learning. Description: deriving new idea from another idea that is neither lower or higher in the hierarchy but at the same level. A lot like learning by analogy. So, for example, teaching how paint breathes can be related to human respiration. Sunrise can be related to new life. That's all. Thank you for listening.